Good morning. This is Bill from Curious Cars and Auto House of Naples on a lovely Florida Friday morning. It's according to this car, the temperature is about 49. Very, very nice for our sometimes the weather in the winter here gets really crappy and hot. You get these unusual hot spells. Oh, we're going to be hotter than usual, you hear on the weather reports. You just want to throw a brick at the TV. And it's nice that we're having a very proper, chilly winter. And that's because of this. Look, again, I know I bitch about the weather all the time. And if you lived here, you'd understand. It is hot in the summer. It's not just hot, it's stupid. That's why the luckiest Florida people get the hell out of Dodge during the summer and go. I hear birds. Yeah, there's one up there. It's a woodpecker. Oh, wonderful. Nature's designed to peck into your head. No goats today, thank God. They were all over the place yesterday. They were on top of me. It was friggin' terrifying. But thank God I haven't seen any today. They're probably back behind the house, maybe over getting goat food behind the RV. And thank God for that. Anyway, yeah, it's hot as hell in the summer. Really, really bad. Horrible. God, would you shut up? Somebody suggested a pellet gun, and I think I have to agree. Oh, by the way, in the comments, I've been reading them, and, God, thank you so much for all the comments. I really do appreciate it. It's fun to read. I respond to a few, as many as a lazy guy is able to, but there's more than I can handle. The one recent one, I saw it actually this morning, compared me to, we said, he listened to the video, and all he can do is picture Bea Arthur. Okay, Bea Arthur, honestly. Anyway, back to the weather. So hot as balls in July, August, whatnot, and you yearn for these nice winter months where you get a little bit of a reprieve from that. Not just the decent weather that's not 30 below like in Buffalo, but a little bit of chill where you have to actually break out one of your light jackets and, maybe even wear pants to work. So, we're having that kind of a winter this year, and I am thrilled. What else can I tell you? Yeah, nothing. I'll try to make it a normal-sized video today, so we'll get right into the car. This is a 2018 Mercedes-Benz S560. The 560 badge came back for 2018. This is what they call like a mid-year refresh, a facelift. Sometimes they call it a mid-cycle change. It's still the W222 based S-Class that came out, 2014? But there's supposedly 6,500 new parts in this one, and that counts the engine as one part. They're very quick to tell you that. So apparently it does have a lot of new stuff on it, this S-Class, that the first incarnation of the 222 didn't, and I guess we'll get into all that. But the 560 badge, which came back for this year, man, Mercedes is playing with fire here because they're really infringing on my memory. As a kid, a young adult, whatever you want to call somebody who's basically snowflake age, the 560 SEL came out in 1986, and it was the pinnacle of analog car ownership. I mean, it was an incredible machine. Teutonic Q-ship. I absolutely loved it. It was something you kind of aspired to, the 560 SEL. I mean, no young person owned one. It just wasn't what happened. It's something you achieved after a lifetime of work. And it was an incredible machine. And I would actually call it the peak of true... when people think of German engineering, some, high-tech engineer in a lab, that's not even true. It's not even that kind of thing. It's more nuts, bolts, wood, and leather. I mean, just incredible craftsmanship mixed with acceptable, proven technology to create an analog package that would last as long as the owner wanted to own it. I mean, a 560 SEL is what I would call a forever car. It was designed to last as long as anyone was willing to maintain it. And to maintain it, you didn't necessarily need to have a Cray supercomputer and, all kinds of lab equipment. I mean, it was basically still just a car. It was just an incredibly well-built car. So the 560 SEL really does stand the test of time in terms of one of the seminal cars of German engineering, of Mercedes ownership, back when Mercedes was truly just a luxury brand. I mean, at a certain point, this is why they bought Chrysler, by the way. Mercedes didn't want to just build old, well-built, expensive, stodgy cars for rich people. They wanted to make a lot more money than that by, emulating Volkswagen, if you will. They want to sell a bunch of C-classes and little SUVs and compact crossovers and stuff all over the world to become a monster company. And they did that. They absolutely did that. And it made them a very different company from the one that produced the cars like the W126 560 SEL of the 80s and very early 90s. And whether or not you like that is up to you. I don't. I can appreciate that they needed to do it, that they had to do it, that they became what they became. But being a dinosaur and having the luxury of not giving a crap about where the company is health-wise, I really did prefer the old stuff. And we'll get into that as we get into this car. So they brought back the 560 badge on this 222 car, and they're playing with fire. They really are. That is such a big deal in my world, the 560. This is a handsome car. I can't say it isn't. It's got, the S-Class has always been sort of the king of the universe. It's been the benchmark against what other luxury cars were compared to. And really, it was its own thing for a long time, until VW and BMW and other, they bought Bentley and they bought Rolls-Royce, and they turned those things into cars for the plutocrats. And now, they're what the people drive instead of the S-Class. But back in the day, the S-Class was it. I mean, if you were in that thing pulling up somewhere in a W126, you were one bad MF. I mean, you were in charge, you were happening, and, you might have had flags on the front. You might have been the Minister of Defense for Uganda. You might have been, the head of a Ukrainian crime syndicate. You might have been the Pope, but whatever you were badass. And that is what the S-Class signified. Sonderklasse, special class is what it means. And it was a very, very special car. Now you pull up in a Bentley or whatnot, and whatever. So the S maybe is now back down to where being for the peasants or something like me. But with this thing had 112 grand sticker, so I guess it isn't really that attainable for most people, including myself. But anyway, is it still special? Yeah, it is, but I don't know. Even Audi probably competes with it now. I mean, back in the day, if you pulled up an Audi, you're well, look at that guy saving some money, or, he couldn't quite spring for an S. Today, Audi's pretty great, BMW's pretty great, and the S fits right in. Let's look in the trunk. All right, sorry about my bag of crap and the donuts for the guys. They are what they are. They're there. Over here, we've got a very nice little infant retainment net. You could put, if this were an infant, this, first aid kit, everything a wounded German might need. If you stuff your infant in there, he's stuck. He's not getting out. So that's a nice one. That's nice. It's not loose. I mean, he might crawl over it if he's big enough, but whatever. The trunk will be closed, so it doesn't do you any damage. Over on this side, there's another one, and it's got pillows that nobody's used. I don't know what you're supposed to actually do with these. These are Mercedes pillows. They're Mercedes pillows. So if you need them, there they are. You've also got this thing that pops out, and it's like a container for stuff that's going to be loose and rolling around in here. So, if you have, let's say you're a Ukrainian crime syndicate overlord, and you've got, 20 loose hand grenades running around your trunk. Well, you could just stuff them in here, and if they're big hand grenades. You could push them down, and then you've got a nice little basket to put them in, and they're not going to bang against each other in your trunk. So that's all pretty cool. Maybe you release it with, yeah, there it is. It releases with that. The donuts would not fit in here. That would have been nice if it had just been another couple of inches. This is what my girlfriend says, by the way. Things would have been better, but they don't. They don't quite fit in, so there it is. Like all luxury cars these days, press the button and the trunk will close itself because, you know, wealthy people shouldn't have to close their own trunks. You see it has backup sensors there. They also function with all the autonomous driving crap this car has, and we'll get into that when we're inside. But look at the big styled twice pipes at the bottom. You know, that's very S-ish. And there's that very dangerous S560 badge. 560 SEL. The E stood for fuel injection in that car, by the way. How do you get in here? And the L stood for long wheelbase, and that meant it had an M117 engine that came out in '86, and hilariously, it had 2 valves per cylinder. That's like a Model T today. So here it is, the 560, which is, you know, 10 more than the 550 that this replaced, actually has 0.6 less liters than the 550 did. This all gets very confusing. I remember back when Mercedes nomenclature correlated directly to the engine. And yes, I know there was the 450 SL 6.9 or 450. They did a little bit of stuff back then, but not much. For the most part, if you had a 560 SEL, it had 5.55 liters. Okay, round it up. Anyway, look, whatever. So this is a 4-liter, 32-valve V8 engine. Puts out about 463 horsepower out of this tiny little thing. It has cylinder deactivation like the old Cadillacs did. So as you're cruising along, it'll stop firing some of the cylinders to save you fuel. Thank you, CAFE standards. It's connected to a 9-speed, which to me, again, just sounds, I'm getting too old. I swear to Christ I am. A friggin' 9-speed, 9G-tronic transmission. How the hell does the car ever know what gear it's in? Why not a 15-speed, you know? Why not a 30-speed? Let's just have more speeds. But anyway, I guess it's all for fuel economy or whatever else it needs, and it's mated to that, and somehow it's a pretty great drivetrain. I will say this, I mean, the 560 SEL of the 80s and early 90s was a very quick car in its day. It was shockingly quick. Man, it wasn't within light years of this thing. I mean, the performance figures this car puts in were like, they would have shamed a Lamborghini Countach in the 80s. I mean, nothing was this quick then. A 4.2 or 3 0 to 60 time, quarter mile time in the 12s, the skid pad. I mean, the technology has really, really, really advanced how they can make a big car like this handle. I mean, this thing would give a Miata a run for its money around Sebring, which is just insane for a 5,000-pound car. It's unbelievable, and it just shows you what they can do with advanced technology that's eventually going to break, and air springs, and, you know, all sorts of sensors, and this, that, the other. It does, when it's all working, make the car an incredible, incredible driving machine. And if I can't love the car for its vintage German craftsmanship, I guess I can love it for its performance. The headlights, like all modern luxury cars, are incredibly overly complicated. They have all these swooping LED ropes and jewel-looking things, multi-beam LED. It says it right on it. This is the kind of stuff Mercedes didn't need to used to do. But now why do they need to put little advertisements on their headlamps? For what it, I don't get that, but it is what it is. You've got this grille. You see this part here? This is it has a double use. Number one, it flips up when you're backing up or moving around and a camera comes out. So it's got a hidden camera in there. Secondly, and I believe I'm right about this, is it hides the radar that senses the cars in front of you for the active assist cruise control and autonomous lane change and all that other stuff, all the driving features it has. So all that's hidden behind there. It has a nice swoopy lower air dam, big wide intakes, and I don't know, it's all nice. You've got big giant manhole covers, vented disc brake rotors there, that really pull this car down to a again, I mean, it'll outbrake like an 88 Corvette. It's just, technology has at least given us that. If it's taken away our souls and our dignity, and I'm not saying the Unabomber was right, I'm not. I'm just saying he might have had a point, but it has given us cars that perform very, very well. Mirrors, all nice stuff. They've got all that blind spot crap in there. More cameras and sensors, and look at all this up here. So, I mean, that's part of all the forward-looking stuff that helps the car do what it does. Nice swooping line. It's got dual conflicting lines here. You've got one coming off the front fender, swooping down, ending right before here. Then you've got another one that starts kind of after the door handle and swoops all the way to the back. It's subtle, it's German, and I suppose that's fine. So we'll go with that. Let's have a look at the back. All right, so you've got essentially seating for 3, but I don't know who the hell you're going to fit in that middle jump seat. I mean, I do think an S-Class should definitely fit 3 people in much more comfort than it looks like this one does. Now, I will say that if you're 2 people in the back, you got 2 chipper Canadians, they're going to be thrilled. They couldn't be any happier, and the seats recline and have all kinds of crap. But as far as fitting 3 in there, I don't know. Let's hop in. I don't know what this is. I have no idea what this is at all. I should have looked that up. Yeah, it does nothing as far as I can tell. Somebody will correct me. We've got some vents here. We've got a little place to stuff. You're not going to get a switchblade will fit entirely in there, but not a gun. Handle will be coming out. If a guy accelerates too fast, it's going to fly out. If these are map pockets or I don't entirely understand what you put in there. I mean, they're shaped very strangely, and they're quite tight up against the back of the seat. And I don't know. I guess you get something in there. This giant center console does come down, which again just sort of makes me believe this is truly designed for 2 people. This is the optional rear charging, conductive charging or something. So I suspect if you put your phone on there, it'll charge it, but the car probably has to be on for that. So that's nice. So if you're, again, the Ukrainian, gang member, lieutenant, commander, whatever, you're going to have a constantly charged phone. You also get some cup holders and a lovely little place to put a small handgun. There does appear to be more back here. Let's say, now if you need something bigger, you need like a compact submachine, like MP5 or an Uzi, that's going to fit in there very, very well. And you'll be able to become a force of nature. Maybe some of those hand grenades you had rolling around the back, they could go in there too. There's the headrests. You got little makeup mirrors here if you need to powder your nose. And this is up now, but this is part of the pano roof. That's the screen. So you can have the light come in at your leisure. It is power, which doesn't work unless the car's running, but you can run your headrest, your backrest, and you could make yourself feel very comfortable. It also has power screens on the windows. Alright, so that's the back of an S-Class. That really isn't that much different from the way the S-Class was in 1988, for instance, in terms of just being a nice, comfortable place to be with rear power seats, doors that suck themselves closed. Yeah, I'm sure that, I will say this, the collector car thing is done. I mean, you take an 88 560 SEL, you buy that car, it was very advanced for its time, but by today's standards, even a guy with just a little bit of mechanical abilities could enjoy it and maintain it and keep it in a collection. 20 years from now, you need $30,000 currently worth of Mercedes-Benz computers just to adjust anything on this thing. Your average collector is not going to be able to keep this car reasonably without having a team of Swiss scientists to keep it running. So goodbye collector market. I don't know what collectors are going to be collected in 30 years. Maybe technology will advance in such a way that the home guy can maintain it. But fuck, I don't know. Language. I've been, I'm working on it. Door panels, materials, nice, tight. You got some wood. I don't know why companies use dull wood these days, but I guess that's the hip new thing. In the old 560s, it was a rich burl with, 10 miles deep veneer gloss on it. It was lovely. I'm not a big fan of the dull wood, but I guess it's what people want now. The switch gear is all very, well made and is what it is. The seat controls are swoopy, and you've got your ventilation, your heat. You can adjust your right seat with that button. I think this is the base Burmester stereo. There's also another Burmester stereo you could get, which costs like $7,000 more or something. So you just have to put up with this 83 speaker system in this one. Let's close it and get our seatbelt on. I also believe this 3-prong wheel was new for this year. In fact, the whole steering wheel is new because a lot of stuff got moved over to that. Okay, let's fire this thing up, and we're going to get into what's up with the new, now 3-year-old S. I have the... Okay. All right, let me just turn the radio down, because here we have to get into this. We've got two 12.3-inch TFT, or whatever they call them, screens up here, which now have been kind of molded together to look like one. Now, in the 88 560 SEL, you had a very well-engineered analog instrument cluster that, could have been around 20 years before it. And it was lovely to look at, easy to read, and you could just tell it was brimming with quality. Now, I'm not saying that this isn't brimming with quality, but I'm trying to think of the guy who bought the 560 SEL back then, sitting in this car today and saying, yeah, God damn it, that's really what I was missing, was a G-force meter in my 560. If only I had had that, I would have been much happier. This car is not made for old people. Bea Arthur could not drive this car. She would have no concept of what to do with it. There's now a bunch of different ways to work the controls. Before, it used to just be this big round thing. Now it's got mice and men and whatnot. But on the steering wheel, and by the way, one of the last things that carried over from the old Mercedes cars to the newer ones was the stock cruise control. Gone. 2018, that's it. It's gone. Now you've got these little mice here. So you see, I'm going to swoop my hand left. That means I can adjust the left side of the instrument cluster. I press, the home button, and now I can change it to different things. So if I want it to be my trip odometer and stuff, I can do that. Press home again. I want it to be my navigation. There it is. Radio, media, phone. And here's design. So right now we're on what they call progressive. If I want to go to sport, bam. Now I've got sport kit. Man, this is pretty glitzy stuff, but I mean, honestly, you're in a $112,000 Mercedes-Benz S-Class, looking like the master of the universe. This looks like something you could get in a Hyundai Elantra. I mean, it just, I don't know. I mean, is it elegant? Let's go to classic. That's going to be elegant. Yeah, there it is. That is pretty classic. Okay, and then you can change again. So this is the middle area. You only get one now, not two. If I go to, let's see, navigation, what is that? That's just going to be direction of travel, road not mapped. I'll go to the drive assist. I'm going to leave it there, and we'll get into that as we're driving. But there you see the front of the car in between the two gauges, a foot, scale there to whatever. We'll get into it. And you can see the speed limit in Peter's driveway is 30, which is about exactly accurate. That's how fast he goes in his driveway. You still do have your G-force meter, so let me see if I can change that. I'll go back to home. Let's see if I get navigated down to service. Let's see what service says. I want to. Oh, okay. That's how we change it. You see these little blue dots on the right. So as I scroll up, it changes what you see. So there's our eco display, in case you're one of these greeno-weenos. You can scroll up and get what I want. I want that to be red every time I'm driving. There's a map, so you can have that gauge be a map, or you can have it be a tack. I'm going to leave it as a tack. I think that's probably the most proper thing with the G-force. Can you change the speedometer? No, that's just going to be what it is. And we're going to change the center thing again to drive assist. So that's where we're going to stay. Okay, now over on this screen, and you can control it in a variety of different ways. You can use this thing, hit the home button. There we go. That's going to give us the home menu. And then you can use this as a mouse. You see, as I'm... Oh, God, you want to get into all this. Anyway, and you could use direct access on the climate control. But let's get into because this is the one saving grace on this car that makes me accept it and live with it. I'm going to put the massage on. I'm going to have a, let's see, another class. I'm going to have a hot, relaxing back massage. And that's nice. It actually is very, very nice. This makes me want to sharpen my pitchforks and, get my torches warmed up and start storming the plutocrats who are driving to work or driving to the golf course or the Asian massage or nightclub or wherever it is these people go to belly laugh, smoke cigars, and molest women. They are enjoying the trip there with this high-intensity, hot, relaxing back massage. And frankly, it's the lighting cigars off $100 bills. This is the one thing that I would really like to enjoy and be a part of. But we'll go back from that. Let me go back to the home button. Where the hell is that? And this is what I mean. How the hell is Bea Arthur going to figure this crap out? I mean, as she's driving, she's going to kill people. All right, so we've got the radio. We could do media. I mean, you get all this, right? I mean, okay, here's your navigation. Big, nice, giant screen that's going to tell you where all the gas stations are. Lovely. It tells you the speed limit. You get into your radio. This is just old, standard FM stuff you had in your 78 Camaro. What do we have? A Pat Benatar? I don't know. And there's more radio stuff. I'm sure you can get into, what do we have? Radio Source. Sirius, TuneIn Radio. Yeah, I mean, all the stuff snowflakes need. Let's get back over to this. I'm going to leave that on. Media, that's where you get into your Bluetooth, not authorized, figures. Your phone, your, Bluetooth crap, you can connect it, nice. Connect, what is Mercedes Connect? It's got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and you see it saying 4G right there. The car has its own 4G and its own Wi-Fi. Somehow. I don't exactly know how it works, but I'm sure it does, and it's just designed to nag you. What else do we have? I promise you I'm getting to something interesting. So, okay, we're going to go into vehicle, and this is the part that just shocks me, all right? So we go over to, that's all this stuff. I want to go over to energizing comfort. Now, I did this last night. I don't know if you see that hint of blue light down there. It's not, I see it in the viewfinder. Okay, so the ambient lighting in here is all changeable, like it is on your, 12-year-old daughter's keyboard. Very same shit. If you hit, there it goes away again. Okay, energizing comfort. Let's see what vitality brings. This is a revitalizing effect provided by stimulating light and invigorating music. It's changed the climate control, so it now has decided it knows what I want. It's changing the ambient light. I don't see it now here, but yeah, it's red. And what else? No, that's not giving me the mute. Okay, let me do this again. Hold on. Enjoyment. Oh, yeah. It comes up with its own soundtrack. So, according to Mercedes engineers, and again, these are not the guys, the West German guys who, carved wood and put in needles. These are different kind of Mercedes engineers. This is what people want. And there we go. Okay, so I see now I've got 0 minutes left on my video. I've got to stop it and delete some old shit, and then I'll be right back. All right, we're back, and I got more room, but it says I only got 7 minutes left, so we're going to have to barrel through this. Anyway, there it is. So this car is not, here's well-being. Let's do well-being. So not only does it change the ambient light in the car, come up with its own soundtrack that it thinks you're going to like, blast you with fragrance here from a little fragrance emanator that comes through the climate control. It also is basically a life coach. So, I mean, this car is ridiculous. It's going to guide you through life the way that Mercedes engineers envision it. Listening to the music they think you're going to want, getting the massage that you probably do want from these seats, smelling what they think you want to smell, and it's just... I don't know. Cars are different. I'm just going to say that. This is not your granddad's W126. This is very, very different. You can see this window sticker on this car. Thank God we still have it. It's always nice to have. Surprised it's still paper anymore. 112 grand. It seems like an awful lot of money to me, but it's what you get. You get black with black Napa leather. You get Designo natural grain brown ash wood, and then premium package, driver assistance package. A lot of stuff, a lot of fancy crap. These are all your cruise control. What the hell? Climate control stuff. Apparently this is designed to look like a woman's necklace and some sort of avant-garde wood styling. I remember when the wood in Mercedes just looked stodgy and like really good furniture. Now it looks like a sculpture from the Met Museum of Modern Art or some crap. These gauges are metal, nice. You've got the prerequisite analog clock to remind you of a time when people had to chop their own wood and drive without automated assist features. If I open up this, you've got, oh, by the way, here, yeah, Chinese market. You still have a very prominent ashtray right there in the middle. I have no idea what I mean, you've got, I guess this is just a place to stick something useless and small, like a little bag of narcotics. You've got, it's not useless. You got 2 cup holders. You got, again, all your, different controllers. Dynamic. What do I do with that? You can go eco, comfort, sport, or set it up how you want it. You can adjust everything over here with, it's just shocking. I'm gonna leave it in comfort. This will raise or lower the car. We talk about how, a Lithuanian crime syndicate boss might have just shot his rival in an alleyway and, needs to drive over him to get out because, he stupidly shot him in front of the car and there's nothing to the rear. So this will lift the car up. I press that. You see vehicle rising, and it's going to give you enough room to clear his head without hurting any of your ground effects. The camera, you can press this button here and get all the different views. Here's the front of the car, another view of the front of the car. Here's the sides of the car. There's the back of the car, and there's another view. Well, so you get the top thing. It's not just another view, so you can see the car from the top and the rear. So you got plenty of cameras in this thing to distract you from actually looking out the windows. In here you've got a center console with more conductive charging plates, more USB outlets, some kind of weird ZZ Top logo, and a place to put microchips. All very nice stuff. You got a weird, this is the new thing now, is thin framed rear view mirrors. I noticed that on Corvettes and other GM products. They have like no frame. This one's just thin. Whatever. And here's your big pano roof. There goes the screen, and there goes the glass, and the little button in front of it here, that'll run the back sunscreen. So now you can let the people in the rear have the light shine in and they can enjoy themselves. But since it's 48, I'm going to close all that and not let it get too cold in here to interfere with my nice warming massage. Oh, before I go, I better hang the tag on the back. Anyway, so look, there it is. What a bizarre amount of technology they're putting in these cars now, and I really don't understand, other than like wealthy 11-year-old YouTube stars, who's going to be able to use them. Remember when all the old people were upset over BMW's iDrive? The stuff in the cars today make the iDrive look like a rotary telephone. What a dust. God, Dalton just is not a good detailer at all. We're still listening to this elevator music that Mercedes is providing for us. I should say, you see that little mouse thing on the steering wheel that lets me do that on that side? This is the instrument cluster. This one controls the other side. In fact, I'm going to get out. Let's go to Vitality. Maybe that'll give us a little more. That's air freshener and accompanying music. You can make it be your own music if Mercedes approves of the beats per minute. Enjoyment sounds rubbish. Let's do Vitality. All right. Let's see how the windshield looks. Oh, wow, now we're getting excited. At least there were no goats. Well, the windshield's not terrible, so it's got some kind of, looks like a cat was on the car, actually. What the hell? Oh, yeah, there's your nanny. Oh, I've broken the speed limit. I'm going, I don't know what, 32 and a 30. I'm sure you can turn that off somewhere, but, you know, I don't like that nanny stuff. And by the way, the steering is all electric and, of course, controlled by the car. This thing will automatically lane change. If you've got the cruise control on and you hit the turn signal, you don't have to turn the wheel. The car will change lanes for you. God, that music. It will follow curves around the highway. It uses not just GPS, but also cameras to keep itself in the lane. Yeah, I don't know if it ping-pongs around the lane or not, but it probably does, and it's probably quite nice. But it's another step forward in that whole autonomous driving thing that I find creepy as hell, but people seem to like and cheerlead for. I really don't understand it myself. Honestly, I mean, do you really want the car to know more than you do to take your drive? I mean, it just seems like a microcosm for everything that's going on in the world today. Everybody's worried about people making their own decisions. You know, oh, you don't know when to turn the lights on. You're not qualified. You don't know how to change lanes. You're not qualified. Well, actually, I will agree that quite a few Korean car owners out there are not really qualified to change lanes, but that's an aside. The car's very quiet inside. The noise insulation is tremendous, I have to say. Yeah, you really do feel... All right, let's hammer it. Wow. Listen to that. Yeah, you see, and that is nice. I will say that. No 560 SCL ever accelerated like that. And I can see the battery flashing, the warnings coming on in the camera, so it's going to shut off any minute. Let me just say this. This is a 2018 Mercedes-Benz S560. Great badge of the past and the current. It's a pretty amazing friggin' car, even if it's not exactly the thing that I love in terms of vintage styling and construction. It's a much more modern thing. And you know what? I'm a dinosaur. I mean, this is not a moral judgment. I mean, the car had to change to become whatever today's idea of luxury is versus yesterday's idea of luxury. And I may prefer yesterday's idea, but I doubt it sells as well as today's. So I get it. Mercedes did what they had to do. And that's it. So this thing parks itself. It tells you when you're exceeding the speed limit. It blasts fragrances out at you, gives you beady, enjoyable music that you might like, and massages your back. And I guess if that's what people want today, they're going to get it. That's what Mercedes is going to give them. So if you have an interest in this car, call the guys at Auto House, 239-263-8500, on the web at autohousenaples.com. Thank you so much for having a look. I appreciate it, and we will see you with the next one. Well, we'll see if the camera has enough power for this, but I'm going to try to at least demonstrate this autonomous lane change. If for once I have somebody in a Kia who's not driving at an insanely rapid pace beside me. For once. All right, so here we're at the speed limit. Beeps, of course. All right, now I've got the cruise on. You see that little thing with the hands on the wheel? Delicate looking hands. Or I don't have the cruise on. Okay. Now I've got the cruise on. Where the hell is the cruise? That's not the cruise. That's the home button. Oh, for the love of God. Oh, for the love of God. Where the hell? Oh, there it is. Oh, no. Okay, so now we could have cruise. All right, so now it's set. And, of course, now I have nitwits coming up on me. Oh, good. He's getting over. All right, where it's set. I'm going to hit that. There. I'm not touching the wheel. Car changes lanes on its own.